a leader and to reach the best capacity and ability that you could be. So our program is structured into 8 sessions, of which the first one is an introduction to leadership. And then we shall go to the critical thinking and problem-solving skills. We shall also be discussing with regard to the emotional intelligence. We shall further be concerned with things related to presentation skills and the public speaking skills. And thenceforth, we shall put the capacity in you to be able to develop interpersonal skills. Now, leadership is not one skill. So someone telling that I'm training leaders in one skill, no. Leadership is the application of almost 8 skills together, and that make a difference to the marketplace as you attend it. So I congratulate you to start this program. At the end of the program, end of our 8 weeks, we shall have exam. It's a multiple choice question, 100 question, and we'll be doing it online. So in course of our presentation and discussion, we shall be able to capture some of the things. So please, if you are able, write some few notes, and from thence it will help you for the purpose of exam. The aim is not to put the exam, the aim is for you to grasp the materials that will enable you to grow. So we want, after 8 weeks, your capacity and the capability as a leader to be different. Now, in that regard, I would ask you to, after this session, to go to our website and do your own skill assessment test. So Loz will consult you and will give you the means how to do the test. It's just a test. It's not something which you do like school, but it's something which you do for purpose of seeing your capability today, so that after the end of the program, you see whether you have gained or not gained. Soon after doing your exam, we shall attach you to a mentor. A mentor is a person who has got experience in your field. So we shall give a selection of either of the 2 mentors who shall help you to mold your skill and showcase the practical part of the leadership program. So having put that introduction on, I would like now to go straight to our first topic. And that topic is what we call Introduction to the Leadership Skills. Now, please see the quote down there on your screen. It is saying, the supreme quality for a leader is unquestionable integrity. The supreme quality of a leader is unquestionable integrity. Now, to most of people, they think integrity means to be righteous. No, no, no. Integrity means ability to say what you mean and mean what you say. Ability to say what you mean and mean what you say. That's the leadership. So wherever you put your mouth to speak as a leader, you must be sure that that thing should be fulfilled. And we always give an example of God. If God was to be a person who speak every time, it means the world was to be totally confused, because things will be happening now and then. So the same as to the person who aspires to be a leader, it is very important that you need to be careful on the word you put forth and stand by your word. And I repeat, this quote is saying, the supreme quality of a leader is unquestionable integrity. Now, from this, let's try to see the objective of this training. Number one is to help you to build your leadership skill. Now, leadership skills is going to the point number 2, which is say it provides tools and tips that will make you to be able to apply in your life or in your business environment to make a difference. But also the aim is to try to improve your way you see people, you see your relatives, you see the people you're working with, and thence from develop your inner capability to be a best leader. Further, we try to see the positive side and negative side of leadership, but also we shall learn something called the laws of power. The laws of power as a set of things which how do you become powerful to retain your position in political or in social life. Further, we shall try to see the new leadership styles, and also we shall learn something on servant leadership skills. And lastly, we shall give some insight with regard to what we call supervisory skills for the leaders. Now, let's start with objective number 1. And as I said before, let's ask ourselves some few questions. What is leadership? What really is leadership? So you try to see that word called leadership. It has got 2 words together. There is a word called a leader and the word called sheep. The word leader, it comes from the Latin word called laudere. It's not an English word, but it's derived from another source. So it's come from laudere. Laudere means any person can be a leader. Now, when you talk about sheep, sheep is a position which you talk about. So sheep, we are talking about now organizing something to achieve the best and make people to follow you. That is a leadership. What does it mean? It talks about a person with vision, a person who sees some steps ahead, a person who is ahead of whatsoever is doing, and others aspire to try to follow him. It becomes an inspiration to others, but also a leader should be able to motivate. And a leader is about serving. It's not a boss. But also a leader is a person who can feel what others feel. That's called empathy. With the ability to be imaginative, but also a leader should be creative. One of the very important features of a leader is the ability to listen. Many times we've got a lot of judgmental leaders who they would like to see us failing and don't want to listen. They want just to instruct. Why? Because I'm a leader. Further to that, a leader should be able to create a team. That's team building. And also, a leader always is a risk taker with the ability to see the opportunities, but also ability to make mistakes. We expect a leader to be a person who every time studies, leads, and that's what we say about continuous improvement. Now, to sum up what you see on your screen, number 1, the word leader, it comes from 2 words. That is leader and a sheep. Any person can be a leader, but not every person could be in a sheep. A sheep can be an organization, can be your family, can be a place which you do your business, whatsoever. So in a ship, you need to be able to see how do you move others. The question is, like an engineer who is intending to maintain a car or to make a repair of a car, you must have a toolbox by your side. You must have a spanner so that you may be able to repair the car that you're dealing with. And that we call the leadership skills. Now, to continue from there, I would like to move straight to the meaning of leadership skills. As you saw it before, when you talk about leadership skills, it's not one training. So you don't have a single training called, this is called leadership training. There is nothing called like that. Someone will just be lying to you. Leadership skills is about tools behavior, capabilities that you need in order to achieve two things. Number one, motivate others, but also direct others. Now, how do you do that? Let me tell you, unfortunately, from our basic schools we start, many times we're not taught about these skills. We may be taught only small parts of the skill, but what the aim of this training is to teach you the 360 approach for you to be able to grasp, but not only to grasp, to be able to apply in your circumstance that skill to achieve the best. So the tools will help you to make others grow and you improve from your words, your actions, and your doing. In the end of the day, a leader would like to see others achieve their own success. Now, please mind you, the course is called Leadership Skills, a journey from a manager to a leader. The question is, what are those we call leadership skills? What are the tools we want to talk about? What are the behaviors we want to talk about? And what are the capabilities? That is our intention to talk about. Now, maybe to start with for understanding, the question is, a leader is born or is made? Are the people who are born with the leadership capacity? What about it? A leader is born. So let's see some 8 qualities, and we ask ourselves whether those qualities you are born with or any person can learn about them and be able to achieve the best of whom he or she could be. And we're trying to look on leaders like Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela. For the Muslim is Muhammad, but for Christian, maybe talk about Jesus Christ. What was in them? Why they become influential and impactful on their lives to make a difference to this world? Or are they called by God to be leaders? Not true. Let's see. Number 1, a leader must be visionary. What does it mean? If you're working in an organization, or you're working on your own job, or you're in your family, you must be able to see some few steps ahead than others. It's very important. Don't be a person who waits to be told, but you should be able to create the path for you to go through it and others to follow. Number 2, you must be capable to understand what you're supposed to do, either through training or through mentorship, whatsoever. So I believe just by joining this course, you are trying to go to the point number 2. Number 3 is about integrity. Now, I want to repeat, integrity does not mean to be correct or to be right. No. Integrity means saying what you mean and mean what you say. I repeat, integrity means saying what you mean and mean what you say. That you need to keep your words, even if it is costing you. That's a source and a very basic foundation of leadership. Number 4, you need to live and set an example. Whatsoever you tell others to do, you must be ahead of that. Number 5, you must be able to motivate others. That's why we are going to talk about emotional intelligence in our 3rd lecture. What does it mean? It means there is no way you can motivate others without knowing the emotional intelligence subject. Number 6, a leader must be thorough on the communication. Now, to communicate effectively, you need to be able to listen carefully and have some few words to hint for someone to understand. Further, number 9, a leader should be able to take a risk. And lastly, a leader should be an intelligent problem solver. People will admire you because of your ability to address and solve human problems. Now you need to be careful here. When we go to our fourth lecture, in our fourth lecture, we shall be learning with regard to the problem-solving skills and with regard to the critical thinking skill, which is very important skill for a person to achieve a best level of leadership capability that are there. So question I put on you, do you think these 8 characteristics that you see on the screen, are they inborn or you can learn? So always you can learn about how to make a better vision. You can learn about ability to understand and comprehend your role. You can learn to be a person of integrity. You can learn to be able to communicate effectively. That's why there is a topic called communication skills, which is practical now. I'm not talking about the classic one, but also you can learn to be a problem solver. In that regard, the skills we mentioned about leadership, you can learn. And it requires your open mind. Please be ready to absorb new things as you go through this course. It requires patience and commitment so that you may make a difference in your work, in your business, and in whatsoever you do. From this, I would like to go to the depth a bit and trying to talk about what are the qualities of a successful leader. Then we shall break for question and answers, and then we shall proceed for our next session with regard to this afternoon training. My friends, one of the very many problems of a weak leader, a person who don't know leadership, is number one, burnout. They'll always want to do a lot of things without success. But many times people abscond, will run away. Why? Because they're not committed. But also, they'll always lose respect. So what are the qualities you say, this, if I find in a person, can make a leader? But also, this is a pause for you to ask yourself, do I have these qualities? Quality number one, do you want to lead? Because there are people who don't want to be leaders. They're shying away. But I argue today that since you have gone to this course, please have the desire to be a leader. There is no way you can be a leader without a desire. So in your heart, you say, if it's not this year, if it's not next year, one time I want to be a leader. Number two, as I said before, a leader should show commitment to mission and vision. I remember those days I was starting working and I become the head of department. And you ask people about why are you here? Many will say, we just want to wait for salaries. Nobody want to engage to see a big picture of that organization and therefore put his mind and energy to achieve the best. I don't know where you're working. We shall make introductions sometimes later. But I want to assure you, many people, they go every day to the organization or they work, or they're working at a family level, and they are not having any picture of the future. May I ask you today, do you have your life vision statement? Do you have your life mission statement? Do you have your life value statement? What values do you believe on? Now, after this lecture, I will send you some materials for you to be able to design your own life mission and vision. Let me tell you, if you understand your mission and vision very properly, you do everything to achieve it to the best of whom you could be. But if you don't understand, anything which comes there, you take it. We are saying, if you don't have your own vision, you always implement another person's vision. So please, a fundamental to our leadership understanding is for us to be able to write down our mission and the vision for the future. Number 3 is what we call integrity. And as I said before, if you meet a person on the road and they say that I'm a man of integrity, wherever he's put on suits, nice clothing, the question is he a man of his own word? So one of the very important qualities of a leader is to be a man or a woman of your own word. Don't be a person who speak one thing and do the other. So we're saying that what you preach, what you speak, should be something which you always do. So please, to remind you, we are talking about qualities of a leader. And now we are talking about a successful leader, because you've got a lot of unsuccessful leaders. As I said, a quality of unsuccessful leader, you find burnout. He's always busy for nothing. Why? He don't have something he's chosen to follow through in his life. He's always busy for nothing. But a leader is always a person who is visionary, and also is a person who knows what he's supposed to do. So, successful leader have 3 major qualities. Number 1, they want to lead. They want to be a leader. So my question to you is, do you like to be a leader? Number 2, please make sure that you've got your own mission and vision very clearly articulated on a piece of paper, that if this life comes to an end, I want to achieve 1, 2, 3, 4. But also with that also, please have your own value statement. What are your values? Lastly, a leader should be a man or a woman of high integrity. Sometimes when you find someone is preaching to you, talking to you, you ask, do you do what you say, and you say what you do? There is a food for thought for our discussion this afternoon. So someone went to an interview, as you can see on the screen, and he wanted to be a leader in an organization. Now, the interviewer, you can see on the desk on the right, and he say, do you have any leadership experience? And you see what that person say. I have 13 people following me on Twitter. The question is, what is leadership? If you don't have followers, then you're not a leader. I repeat, if you don't have followers, then you are not a leader. So my question is, as part of your life, work life, or family life, do you have people who are following you? Our second food for thought is what you see on the screen, which says, the interviewer is asking, why did you leave your last job? You see the answer. The company located and didn't tell me where. What does it mean? It means that when you're working somewhere, or you want to work in an organization or your own organization, you must be able to commit to the vision and the mission of that organization. Otherwise, you lose. So it's very important to be sure of whether you have the vision and the mission of where you want to be going. Now, this is another food for thought this afternoon. And this is, you find somebody is in the hospital on the screen, and there's a lot of cards people have given to that person. Get well soon. Would like to see you getting through this. And you see the statement down there, either lead, follow, or get out of the way. You cannot be a leader and a follower. And you cannot be a follower and a leader. Nothing like that in this world. You cannot do both of them. If you do both of them, the end result is what you see on that man on the screen. We'll see you admitted in the hospital. Now, you see another very important quote there. This man, who is a boss, he said, think different, but not different from me. Think different, but not different from me. What does it mean? Let me tell you. A leader must have a specific vision of his own. If you don't have your own vision and mission, you'll be implementing other people's vision and mission. So I need to argue again, as we are just winding up this part. Please, Loz will send you some templates for which I want each of us, in course of time, to be able to write down what is your life mission and what is your life vision. That's very important. Otherwise, you'll be living other people's life. So let's move on as I go to another part, which we call about qualities of a leader. But before I go, I would like us to remind all of us on what we started with. We said that there are two things which are important to a leader. Number one, you need to know the traits of a leader. What are the traits? There are 3 traits which I want to see in a leader. So if you don't have, it means you're supposed to go deep to these studies. Trait number 1, if you remember, is desire to lead. So for purpose of our understanding, I'll put back the screen, which is talking about traits. So number 1, you must be desirable. You need to lead. There is no way it can come from anybody else. You need to have a desire to lead. Number 2, you must have personal vision. And number 3, you must have of integrity. And you remember, I said integrity is saying what you say, you mean, and as to what you say. Saying what you mean and mean what you say. That is what we call the integrity. So there are 3 things. Number 1, quality, desire to lead. Number 2, commitment. Number 3, integrity. Now, let me move to another part now. And that part, you call it qualities of a leader. If a person is called a leader, you may see the difference between the different leaders which have gone in this country, in Tanzania, from the first phase, second, third, even now 4th, and now it's 5th, and now it's 6th. And you may see who really became a leader. So we need to be careful here. And I need to put this very important note. Leadership is not about those positions you see in government or in organization. Those are positions not necessarily occupied by a leader. We've got a lot of babies sitting in those positions. Why? Because they don't have leadership capability and skills. And many times they cause a lot of problems because of lack of ingenuity and ability. So we've got a lot of people in leadership position, but they're not leaders. So they're just managers. I'll talk about managers and leaders later. And I explain why I'm saying so. So number one, the cornerstone of leadership is honesty. And honesty, I mean integrity. So quality number one of a leader is integrity. So please guard yourself. How many times you've been speaking things which you don't do it? So you're killing to a leadership position or leadership capability on yourself. Now, try to think about the leader you know and ask yourself, are they honest? If they are not honesty, they are just on leadership position, but they are not leaders. Number two is commitment. Whether you are working, you need to be committed to that organization. You need to see the vision of the organization and being able to articulate it thoroughly. Or if you're self-employed, you must be able to understand what is your future and stick to it until the end. Number three, leaders do inspire others. I've talked to you about people in leadership position. If you find a person who is a boss and is always causing people to lose energy, he don't have a way to inspire people, that's not a leader. Leadership is inspiration to make others to get more energy and strength to do better. Number four, a leader should be a servant. Now you don't understand maybe this one. Your position should never make you to be inhuman. Should never make you to be a different person from who you should be. That is ability to listen even to the most junior person or most insignificant people in the society or in whatsoever you do. That's called humility. Number five, a leader should be a good communicator. Now, the most important good insight about this person as a communicator is ability to listen. Many people are leaders, and you know them. They will come to conclude issues without even listening. This is an important and very important skill for a leader. Listen, listen, listen. Develop that capacity from home or family to the organization, to your own life. Someone said, we are created with one mouth, but 2 ears. Why? Because God could have created us with only 1 ear, but he gave us 2 ears. It means you need to listen much than speaking much. You'll be able to influence people and understand their position by doing so. That's why many people, they've lost from being leaders. They're using force now to lead. Why? Because they are poor communicators. And this, you understand the people I'm talking about who are in a position of power, but they are very poor communicators, so they are not leaders. If you find a person who is always angry, does not want to listen, want to give instruction only, I can assure you, he's doomed to fail. And you won't make a good leader to the end of his life. When that position is gone, automatically is a failure in the marketplace. So it's very important for you, if you want to aspire to be a big leader, to develop those mental skill and their capacity to be able to communicate effectively. Number 6. A leader must be confident. Now, how do you become confident? We shall learn about the skills to be confident. I know a lot of people, when we started this training, they come very afraid, very worried, But in the course of gaining the skill about how to develop the confidence in yourself as a leader, they become the best confident people. Confidence is ability to speak or to stay on your course of what you believe to be correct until the end without mingling around. Number 7, if you want to be a good leader or effective leader, you must be positive. Yesterday, I met people in a leadership class. I'm doing some training, which is not necessarily on the screen, but some people are calling me. So I was called to one of organization, and I was training them about the leadership skill. I said one of the killer for the skill called positivity is what we call rumors. If you sit with people who are negative, you'll never be positive. There are people in an organization, even in a family, who do always complain. They don't have anything positive about anything. But we shall go to the details of this, and we shall see that one of the important qualities of a leader on positivity, don't backspeak a person when he's not around. Learn not to tell others while someone is not there. You know, it's a matter of skill, it's the ability to develop. Lastly, a leader must be fair. And that is, he should be able to treat people equally. And that's the cornerstone of leadership. Please, I want us to recall, we are talking about 3 traits and 8 qualities of a leader. And what we are saying to you as a message is leaders are not born, but they are made. And if you find someone has got some of these qualities very well, then it means either it's because of the family background which he came from, the school which he gone through, the books which he led, or the people whom we met. Otherwise, any person among us can learn these 8 skills, 8 qualities, and become the best in the marketplace. There is a saying in training, we say that if you can be able to do something continuously for 3 years, you become expert on that. So a leader should be honest, should be able to know the vision and mission of the organization or of his life, should be inspiring. People feel to be just listening to him, just go to him. He should be, or she should be, a very good communicator. That is, able to listen, and be careful on each sentence he put to another person. There are people who are very poor communicator, and they'll blame other person that why didn't you do something like this? I remember, to give an example of this. It was a family. A woman had employed a house helper. Now, the house helper came from village. So the first day, he gave her a mop. She gave her a mop and asked her to just mop the house on the tiles. That girl, it was the first experience she does. And therefore, the quality of the work she was doing became very poor. Now, that woman was a leader and had known the leadership skills. She said that all people, you need to inspire them. So when she saw that, she decided to start training that young girl until she became the best of who she could be. But to most of other women, they would just slander, they would just beat that young girl and say that you are useless. and that is about communication. So please, as you are studying this leadership skill or class, make sure that you learn some of the things that to improve yourself. The more you improve, you become a better leader, a person on yourself. Another is confidence, but also we say you need to be positive. Someone asked, if you want to know about the character or quality of someone, look for his friends. When you know friends of Laedere or Mbumi or another person, you know for sure who is that person. People who are negative, they want to bring a lot of improvement and change to your life. But people who are positive, they'll always be there to help you achieve the best of whom you could be. And lastly is the so-called fairness. Now, those are the skills that make up top leaders in the marketplace. Those are the skills that will make you achieve the best of whom you can be. This is called 8 outstanding qualities of an effective leader. Please remember, you see a quote on the screen from Albert Schweitzer, who says, example is not the main thing in influencing others. It is the only thing. I repeat, to be an example is not only the main thing of influencing others, but it is the only. So a leader is about becoming an example with honest commitment, inspiration, humility, communication, confidence, positivity, and fairness. Please, if you feel you have got a question or any comment, just type on the screen because in the end we shall have some question and answer. Just put up a message and then you shall get it and we shall discuss together for purpose of improvement. So feel free anytime you want to clarification, feel free to ask. Put forth on the screen. You may just check the press written, the chat, and then you may chat, then we'll see it. And from thence, we shall be able to respond on different issues we feel that they're important. Now, let's try to have some test. This is just a discussion test. Remember, we said there are 3 traits of a leader. Number 1 is desire to lead. So my question to you, do you enjoy when others seek your idea or opinion? So please write yes or no on just on a piece of paper. Question number 2, do you mind when a team member asks a challenging question when working the project? When someone just challenges you, why can't you do this? Why can't you do? Are you happy? So write yes or no. Do you like supporting others on your team? Do you enjoy helping another person? Write yes or no. Are you comfortable when you are put in a team or you are placed in a team? Do you feel that you are part and parcel of that engagement, or you've got some issues with that? Please write yes or no. Do you like playing the role of a coach? Do you like to coach others to improve their skill? Do you prefer to resolve personal conflicts on a team rather than let them continue? Do you feel that you need to resolve some issues? Do you feel that you need to call people together when they find it's difficult, or just ignore it? Yes or no. Can you have product discussion even if others don't agree? When you speak something in a press or in public and then everybody say, what is this? Put it away. Will you still be strong? Yes or no? And also, do you look for opportunities in your life and celebrate other success? When you see your neighbor is doing more than you, are you happy or you may feel that threatened. And another is, do you have productive discussion, even people don't agree with you? Further, do you consider the team problem is your problem? When you're in your house, in your family, or in your business, do you think the problem of that family or business is your problem? That's also very important to know, yes or no. Lastly, do you like to generate ideas? Do you feel that you've got a lot of ideas that are coming forth and you can help us? So the answer should be yes or no. And then I would like you to mark yourself. How many yes you got and how many no you got. If you get more than 9 out of 13, then at least you're passed. If it's less than 9, then you've got a long way to go to improve on the desire to lead others. Now, let's have a pause. Somebody, Levila, I think was... Okay, yeah, so I think everything's yes. Number 4, you said no. What is it about? I think maybe it's not a secret. Are you comfortable? All right. Are you comfortable putting team interest before your own? Yeah, so put up as your own thinking through. We shall try to discuss it later. But I see a lot of others, yes. So it means automatically you are able to lead. This kind of answers that you expected to be shown there. All right, let's move on. Number 1, we said about desire to lead. And this is a test. So please make sure that you've got good answers on that. Number 2 is commitment to mission and vision. Commitment to mission and vision. What does it mean? What's the difference between mission and vision? Now look on this cartoon you see on your screen. It seems that there's a company meeting, and this is the chairman of the meeting. And he said, in terms of vision, this company has lost its way. Is there anybody here good with Google Maps? So the manager wants to use Google Maps to help to restore the company vision and mission and its ability to do something. What does it mean? This person is a leader who don't know even why is he a leader. He don't have a vision, so it wastes a lot of people's time. He'll apply a lot of energy on things which are not supposed to be energy. So for him, he believed that the company has lost vision, don't understand what's going on. And this is the reason I've insisted in for you to be able to write your own mission and vision statement. So you may see on the screen, we've got the mission statement. Would you mind to write for your own? He said, guided by relentless focus on quality and maybe process or systems, we will strive to be the best in the marketplace, delivering to our customers. So please, can you try to fill in what is missing on your screen board? Now you see this guy here, he said quality, we've already used to that. So what is that? He ignores, but they don't have a mission. So it's difficult for them to be part of the organization. Number 4, you remember when we are discussing about number 3, sorry, we talked about integrity. Please, for the purpose of understanding those who remember, we are talking about the traits of leadership. Now, there are 3 traits of you to be a leader. Number 1, desire to lead. And some people attempted the question. I believe others also try to attempt the question. Number two is when we try to look on commitment to vision and mission. And I said to this, you'll ask Rose later to give a template for you to write your own vision and mission. Number three is about integrity. Now, integrity has got three components. Number one is sincerity. Sincerity is to speak the truth. Honest, accept mistakes, and take responsibility for a decision you make. You need to be sincere. That's what makes a leader. So part of integrity is sincerity. But also number two is consistency. That is making equal treatment to different people. And also being able to follow your promises. Consistency. Last one is the so-called substance. So a person of integrity, number one, will keep private employee information private. They won't talk about others when others are not around. Please, this is one of the very important leadership quality. Never backspeak people when they're not there. Number two, on substance is part of integrity. Don't gossip or complain about your team member. If it's a family level, people complain about a husband or a wife, and that's not appropriate. But also, you should be able to give credit where it's due. When you find someone has done very well, don't wait for a big gift. Just give the words of encouragement. And also, you should be able to care about the development of employees, but also ability to listen. That is to maintain a clear communication line in the workplace or at family level. That's part of integrity. It is both sincerity, consistency, equal treatment, and substance. That's the meaning of that. Now let's see some discussion question this afternoon. Let's have some discussion question this afternoon. Are you a leader? Please, you may respond by writing on a chat. We shall adjust discussion. Please, if you feel write something on the chat and I shall just see it. All right? So are you a leader? What are your inborn qualities? We said about 8 qualities of a leader. You remember, including confidence, communication, and I said communication is about ability to listen, not to talk. A good communicator is able to listen. We talked about honest or integrity. Which quality you have? Let me pause here and ask yourself, what quality do I really love on these 8 qualities we talked in leadership? Are you honest? Are you a good communicator? Do you have commitment on whatever you do? Are you inspiring others? Are you humble? Do you communicate effectively? Do you have confidence? And one of the best confidence, you can see these people here, wearing nice clothes is a showcase for confidence. Ability to listen is showcase for confidence. But positivity, what kind of a company you maintain and what is your life's thinking? Lastly, is fairness. Are you treating? So in these 8 qualities, which one are you best at? Which one you are able to stand and say, this is my quality? Number 2, what kind of qualities you think that perhaps you need to learn? What kind of qualities you think that you need to learn? Because some qualities you need to learn. Which one? Where are you weak? Is it in confidence, communication, whatsoever? Number 3, what are the top 3 things that you think you need to improve? What are the top 3 things that you think you need to improve? Number 4, What is your style at home? If you've got a family, what's your style? And last one, this I want everybody to answer it. What is the supreme leadership quality? Do you remember? I said the foundation to leadership. What is it called? Integrity. Or it is called honesty. So please, we welcome questions. You write on the chat, and then we shall be able to get it. So don't worry about that. Let's see some other qualities that are also important, equally important for our discussion this afternoon. Number one is patience. Number two, compassion, decisiveness, integrity, objectivity, positivity. You should be a person of high energy. A leader should not be down. How do you get the high energy? There's some tricks we shall learn. You should be tact. Being tact means ability to plan ahead of your time. Never start a day without seeing the end of the day. Never start doing something without seeing the end of it. So you start by the end going backward. You must be visionary, goal-oriented. A leader should have a bit of charisma to be able to attract people. There is something called communication skills, whereby a person should be able to present his case before you without interruption and being able to listen to that person. There is firmness. Once you decide on something, you don't change. There is fairness. Treat people of similar occasion equally. But there's an issue of humor, openness, consistency, ambition, and fearlessness. So these are some of the behaviors you'd expect for a leader to have. Question to you, which one have been difficult for you? Please, mind you, the purpose of this class is to hone your skill. This is like a washing machine trying to wash you. So be honest to yourself so that you may improve tomorrow. So among these almost 9 things or 18 things, which one are you strong at and which one you're not strong at? All right. Let's see some few signs of a bad leader. Having gone through some good qualities of a leader, let's talk and see some few signs of a bad leader. Number one, a bad leader will give no guidance. A bad leader will point fingers to what others are supposed to do without doing themselves. A bad leader will never want to review or discuss your performance with him. He will play politics. When we will be studying about laws of power, you'll understand me. But also, the bad leader would want you to do a lot of work and take credit when you're not around. A bad leader will cause people not to work in the organization or department. Why? Because they don't want to be, people want to be listened, to want to listen. But also they will micromanage. They will not be able to say, this person will finish this job. Let me wait for output. They want to go to the details. But we will always have some favoritism. It will not be a person who can tell everything. We'll be hiding a lot of information from the team. A bad leader will make people in the department or section to work beyond the normal hours. It will never appreciate anybody. He may think that it's too much for you to be appreciated. Further to that, a bad leader will give very offensive feedback. Listen to me. On your light part, he said, Leaders who don't listen, will eventually be surrounded by people who have nothing to say. I think you're aware. There are many leaders in this country. When you advise a leader first time, second time, then you say, let me keep quiet. So you say leaders who don't listen, they will eventually be surrounded by people who have nothing to say. You create people in that nature, but you can always improve and change the circumstance. All right, now let me go to the other part of our discussion. To remind you where we started, we are talking about leadership. I said a leader and sheep. A leader could be any person. Any person in this world is a leader. But you talk about leadership, no, not everybody is a leadership. Because in leadership, you must have something to manage or control. We discussed about leadership skills. And we say leadership skills, those are the two key tools. They are the item or spanner that a person would use to achieve the best. So we are trying to give you the tools in course of this training. Later, we went trying to see some traits of a leader. And we say there are 3 traits of a leader. Number 1, desire to lead. That I want to be a leader. Number 2 is vision and vision, commitment to vision and vision. Now, vision is talking about where you want to go, and the mission is talking about how do you go there. So a leader should have what really you want to achieve in life, whether it's an organization or at press. How many years can it take me to be promoted to that position? And lastly is integrity. That is, say what you mean and mean what you say. Then from there, we went to start to see the leadership qualities, which are 8, such as confidentiality, such as confidence, such as honest, inspiring, commitment to vision and mission. So there are 8 qualities of a good leader who can make a difference in the marketplace. Now let's come to this topic again, which is the 3rd part of our lecture today. Because almost is a 4th part, because we started by introduction to leadership, and then we went as far trying to see the traits of a leader, and now we went as far as trying to find the qualities of a leader. Now, this time, I want us to talk about difference between a leader and a manager. Difference between a leader and a manager. When you say about management and you say about leadership, there's not much difference to most of people. Many people do not know the difference between management and the so-called leadership. So let's try to see if we can be able to define the difference between the two. So listen carefully, because this is where you may gain something out of this training. Now, when you talk about organization, if you want to understand me in a very good way, think about this world, which was presumably, which is true, created by God. Now, the question is, when God created this world, he wanted someone to manage the things in this world. And that's why he created a human being. So aim of a manager, not a leader, a manager, Because to be honest with you, Adam was not a good leader example for those who are reading the scriptures. Adam is not an example of a good leader. Why? Because he avoided responsibility. He had no confidence. He didn't know the vision and mission he needed to achieve. But let's leave that alone. The management is about almost 4 things which are very important. That's management. Organizing, planning, controlling, and what we call directing. Organizing, planning, controlling, and what we call direct. So the first 3, organizing, planning, and control, those are the management principles or management activities. A manager is hired in an organization to organize, to plan, and to control. Now, the 4th one is what we call directing. What does it mean? When you talk about directing, it means being ahead of others and helping them to achieve the best of whom they can be. Remember, it's not necessary that a leader should be on the top position organization, might be even the middle position, but able to influence things to come around. So management is about organizing, planning, and control. Leadership is about directing. Now, listen to me carefully. A good leader is a good manager, but a good manager is not necessarily a good leader. You can be a manager, very good manager, but very poor leader. I remember when I was my first time to get appointed to be in the leadership position, I was not a leader. Now I found someone who was under me was coming to the office every day, sleeping on the desk, doing nothing, and going back home. So by then, since I was very naive and I didn't know about the leadership ability and all skills, I decided to fire that person. But when I look back, I wish I would have known these skills. I would have approached that person and helped him to understand himself, gone to the deep of the problem, because I met that person some 3 years after he was fired from the office. What he told me, I felt bad. Why did I do that to him? He was going through some hard situation and difficult moments. But because I didn't want to understand him, I was just having the mind of just someone else. It was difficult to help. So I repeat, that is, a leader is a good manager, but a good manager is not necessarily a leader. So the opposite is true. Now, I need you to understand when someone talks to you about the difference between a leader and a manager in one way. A manager is concerned with the resource, with things that are in organization, to arrange, to plan for them, to maximize. That's a manager. A leader is concerned about human being. A leader is concerned on how he can make someone to be able to do the best so that we may achieve a better goal together. That's a leader. So leadership is concerned human. Manager is concerning things. There's a reason I say a good leader is a good manager, but a good manager is not a good leader. So what's the difference between leadership skill and management skill? Leadership and management actually is some common things, but also they differ so much. What are the management skills? That is some skill you acquire to make a difference. And also, what are the leadership skills? The skills required to touch human life. So you can see on the screen, this is a clear view of the difference between a manager and a leader. A manager will think short term. He don't have a vision on his own, but he's doing everything because of the master's direction whom he serves. A manager will think tactically. He won't think on a big picture, on strategic thinking. He thinks small things. A manager will always plan the how and when. He thinks about how do I do this? When will it be finished? But a leader will think about what and why. A manager will look on bottom line, but a leader will look on the horizon, somewhere ahead. A manager will not have even to-do list per day, but a leader will always have things to be doing in a day. A manager will always focus on what is there. A leader will think about innovation way to move forward. A manager talks about quality, but a leader will talk about employees. How many people have you been into employees as a leader in the organization? A manager will always supervise because he need to report the boss, but a leader is influencer. That is, a manager will have authority of whatsoever I do from the position, whereas a leader gain authority from the way he behaves. You remember, we said the cornerstone to the leadership is what we call integrity. Saying what you mean and mean what you say. So please, you feel that you've got a question, feel free to type and we shall respond to it. Now, this is my assignment to you. Number one, consider your workplace or business. I don't know what you do. Do you have someone who's called a manager in your mind? Quick one. Even in your family. Is your husband or wife a manager or a leader? That's up to you. Who are they? Further to that, the answer to this small question is simple, because you know those people called senior officer or principal or director or what? Those are the managers. They are managing either government or private affairs. You know your organization which you work with. So you may go further trying to draw in the first, second, and the fourth level and see what the difference on that. I would like to get a quote from Einstein, Albert. He said, stay away from negative people. They're a problem to every solution. A person who can question even the solution and put it as a problem. Effective leaders are those who can influence, and I repeat the word influence others to achieve the objective. An effective leader is a person who can influence. So the baseline to leadership is ability to influence other people to achieve the best of whom they can be. And one of the ways to communicate the leadership in organization is through what we call the so-called the chart or the organization chart. That's how sometimes, or many times, you may communicate in the organization about the so-called position as a manager or as a leader. I repeat what Einstein said, so remember it. Stay away from negative people. A person who always complains, please run away. They're a problem for everyone, so they don't have solution. Everything they complain. I want to stress with very clear view that the cornerstone to leadership, when you say this is a leader, is the ability to influence. The question is, yourself there you are, how do you develop the ability to influence your boss, to influence your subordinate, or if it's your business, how do you get a point to influence people who support you with your vision? So influencing is not one skill. It's about a number of skills together. One of them is negotiating, understanding what others really they need, persuading, look only on positive things, reviewing and considering the objections in various ruling, etc., etc. I want to put a clear emphasis. Learn about influence. So one of the skills we're putting here is influence. That we call about connection. I need to put it very clear to you. There are two ways to grow in life. The one way is to grow by studying, like what you do today. Another way is by growing by having the network. And lastly, is to be able to command a decision by influencing others. And that's the essence of life. If they've got any question with this, anything you want to ask about, or get some kind of better view, please feel free to write on the screen, and I will respond first so that you may be able to understand what you mean. For today, this makes an end to our presentation. It was an introduction to leadership. And from next week, we shall learn now the first skill, because now we've understood what is leadership. We need to have some tools if we need to be better leaders. So the first tool that we'll be learning is about the critical thinking and the problem-solving skills. Critical thinking and the problem-solving skills. So I need to make an apology for you getting late to receive the link to our page or to the Zoom. But notwithstanding, we shall do our best next week to send it very early before even Saturday itself, as you just confirm your attendance, so that we have 3 hours to talk about critical thinking and the problem-solving skills. So I'll use a lot of board to explain about some of the things, but also I'll have an invited guest whom we should be working together to present the materials for purpose of your better understanding. So if I ask if there is anyone who has a question, want clarification on anything, please feel free to talk to me even now before we close our session, or you may talk to Lozi if there is something you want clarity on that. All this presentation I'm making, they're recorded. They are available on the YouTube of Institute of Management Consultants Tanzania, IMCT. You can see on there, IMCT. So you just type Institute of Management Consultants, and you get a lot of these presentations for your better understanding. If you missed the last lecture, please, you may access it and get some more information with that regard. Please, we are there to support you. I'm glad that you've joined this course, and I'm sure that you'll never regret as we go through pondering some critical leadership tools and the skills. You'll be able to become the best of whom you can be. So may I ask if there is question? If there is no question, please feel free to write back to us. Otherwise, thank you very much. I see Laedere there for your attendance. I see Mbumi. Thank you for your attendance. Please, even just wave your hand, then I see that at least we are together from the beginning. Anyone can wave their hand? Yeah, thank you so much. Please give us a feedback. How was the session today? What should be improved next time? We need to, you know, can you talk now? All right. I think this, we need to solve it next time. Yeah, I think we don't get it. Perhaps we, yeah, Mbumi, can you talk?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I've enjoyed the lesson.
Sure. Is it making you change?
Of course, it will.
That's great.
Thank you very much.
I like that feedback. So next time we start sharp, because we say integrity is a core to the leadership. So I may not be training people leadership or myself. I make a lot of mistakes.
Thank you.
I hope that will be well. Levila, yeah, appreciate. Thank you so much. Next time we shall make better arrangement for the sound, etc. Otherwise, appreciate for the attendance, and let's meet again next Saturday. Bye. Thank you very much.